Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So today we're going to do a prediction on the 2018 Senate midterm elections. We're not too far away from these midterms. Where today is September 9th, those midterms will be held on November 6th. We're just 2 months away from these midterms, and the stakes are high. Both parties are gearing up for these races. On the Republican Party side, President Trump travels across the country to campaign for Republican candidates. While on the Democratic Party, President Obama is back. He just gave a speech lambasting the president and attacking Republicans, and in order to campaign for Democrats. Regardless of your views, those those things, that speech and President Trump's traveling across the country are going to affect the Senate races hugely. And the Republican Party is substantially down in polls. Actually, the president's approval rating is also down. It's falling down after it just went up. And these are not good things for the Republican Party. But there's still one thing that's going to play in these races in favor of the Republican Party, and that is the economy, which is growing at an impressive rate. Regardless of your views, the president and the Republican Party can use these the economy thing to corroborate their claims that their economic policies have worked, and to popularize themselves, and to in order to win these races. But now I'm not going to say anything more, and I'm going to start filling states that are safe for for the Democratic Party. So the Rust Belt is likely going to the Democratic Party, and Virginia and New Mexico too. And now, states that are safe for the Republican Party are Utah, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Mississippi, which has 2 seats up for elections. And the Republican Party now has 47 seats, while the Democratic Party has 43 seats. And I just filled 5 seats for the Republican Party, while I filled 20 for the Democratic Party. So we can see that this map favored the Republican Party hugely. And yes, this combined with the economy is probably going to save the Republican Party and help them retain their control over the United States Senate. But anyway, I'm gonna continue filling this map, and actually there's no seats likely going to the Republican Party. Texas is not likely anymore. Ted Cruz is barely leading his opponent, Beto O'Rourke, but I'm not gonna touch Texas at this moment. And let's go to states that are leaning to the Democratic parties. And first is Nevada. So Nevada has a very unpopular Republican incumbent, Dean Heller, and it's extremely hard for him to defend his seat in a year like this, a year during a Republican president's tenure. And his approval rating is down. He's down in polls, and the Democratic Party nominates Jackie Rosen, who is very popular in that state and who probably will win this race this November. And now let's move to the state of Montana. Montana President Trump just went there recently to campaign for the Republican candidate Matt Rosendale, but I see the Democratic Party winning here because they have Jon Tester, the incumbent senator here, and Tester is moderately popular, and he has the incumbency advantage. And although the state of Montana was the state that overwhelmingly voted for President Trump in 2016, I still think that the Democratic Party would hold on to it. And now let's move to the state of Arizona. So Arizona, there's a primary held here, and on the Republican Party side, Martha McSally was the winner, and yes, on the Democratic Party side, undoubtedly, Kirsten Sinema is the winner, and these two candidates um, will, will battle it out in November. And Kirsten Sinema is leading McSally by substantial margins in polls recently, but the Republican Party's primary turnout was higher than the Democratic Party's. But regardless, this is a blue wave year. The Democratic Party is probably going to win this open seat here, and just because Sinema is very popular here and is leading in polls, so I'm going to give this as a Democratic victory. And yeah, I forgot to fill West Virginia. I apologize, and this one should be filled as likely because initially everyone thought that Joe Manchin might be able to lose his seat. This is a vulnerable seat here because West Virginia was a state that President Trump won overwhelmingly in 2016 too, and Manchin's popularity fell at that time. But now he's leading his opponent Patrick Morrisey in polls by considerable margins, and I don't think he would lose his seat here. And now both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have 47 seats, and there is 6 seats left. So we're going to start firstly at North Dakota. So North Dakota, I think, is going to the Republican Party. Kevin Cramer is leading his opponent Heidi Heitkamp, the incumbent Democratic senator, who is mildly unpopular here by a small margin. It's flippable, but I think North Dakota is going to the Republican Party because Heitkamp is very unpopular and mildly unpopular, and she's going down and down and down in polls. She's not going to recover. She's not going to rebound. But and President Trump just went to North Dakota too to campaign for the Republican Party, and from the past, from our records, wherever President Trump goes, the turnout goes up too. So I think North Dakota is a Republican victory. And now the state of Indiana. Now I think the state of Indiana is going to the Democratic Party. Joe Donnelly is quite popular here, and he's leading his opponent Mike Braun by around 5 or 6 points actually in polls. So yeah, Braun is not going to come back and take the lead he had back in May, and it's just gonna be a close race, but Donnelly would probably win at the end of the day. So yeah, this is another seat for the Democratic Party. And Missouri, I think this one is going to the Democratic Party too. Claire McCaskill, the incumbent Democratic senator, although unpopular, is leading. Actually, George Hawley is leading Claire McCaskill in polls, but still, McCaskill, the margin Hawley got was very small, and I think it's flippable. Claire McCaskill has the incumbency advantage, and I like Heidi Heitkamp. She can win because Missouri is the state demographics and a lot of other things are going to affect this race, and affect this race like they have in the past. And Claire McCaskill, I think, is going to win. Sorry for repeating that, but now let's move on to the state of Texas. And I think in Texas, Ted Cruz is going to win because Texas is an inherently red state, although Beto O'Rourke is going up and up and up in polls, and he's doing well with fundraisings. But he made some mistakes, like it depends on your view actually, but in Texas is a conservative state, a somewhat conservative state, and Ted Cruz and Beto O'Rourke said he praised those who knelt for the national anthem and said is he never saw, he had never seen anything more American than kneeling for a national anthem, but he might say that and win in some of those states, but this is Texas, and Texas is still a red state. That's gonna hurt him, and Ted Cruz just ran an ad attacking Iraq on that, and there's another ad that Ted Cruz features Beto O'Rourke saying rude words. So yeah, I think still. And President Trump is coming to Texas to campaign for Ted Cruz, although both Trump and Cruz were very opponents in the 2016 Republican presidential primaries. But yeah, wherever President Trump goes, the voting turnout goes up, for better or worse. But for the state of Texas, Texas still boasts more conservative voters, and so I think when the turnout goes up, the votes will go to the Republican Party, not the Democratic Party. But this race is very interesting because Beto O'Rourke in the Democratic primary previously, he won all the areas that are Republican strongholds, and that means he might be able to make an inroad to Ted Cruz's base. And Ted Cruz was at 39% in polls, while Beto O'Rourke was at 38%, and that's amazing in a state like Texas, a very red state like Texas. But anyway, I think at the end of the day, Ted Cruz would be able to win. And now let's move to the state of Tennessee. Tennessee, I think, Phil Bredesen, the Democratic Party candidate, really has a shot. He leads his opponent, Marsha Blackburn, who was nominated by the Republican Party to replace the retiring Bob Corker. And Bredesen is the former governor. He wields some influences over the state, and he's somewhat popular, and he's not that liberal Democrat. His ideologies fit the state of North Dakota. Fit the state of Tennessee. So he might be able to win this seat. And don't forget that this year is a blue wave year. The Democratic Party is gaining, and actually, I think Tennessee is going to the Republican Party, considering that the Republican turnout was higher than on the Democratic Party significantly, and I think that's. But yeah, this race would remain close, but the Republican Party would be able to win. And now the last state, Florida, I think would go to the Republican column, since Rick Scott is nominated as the Republican nominee to contest Bill Nelson, the incumbent Democratic senator. And Nelson is not as popular as Rick Scott, and Rick Scott is leading Nelson in a lot of polls. And don't forget that Scott is the governor. He has that base in popularity all across the state, while Nelson has that incumbency advantage. But I think at the end of the day, Rick Scott would be able to prevail over him, and putting the Republican Party at mere 51 seats. So this is the final Senate map and my prediction as of today, September 9th. And if you have comments, you can put them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, you can like, share, and subscribe. And I thank you so very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all later.